and welcome to Talking TSM, the Game House's talk show about TSM's LCS team. I am Robert Haynes, your host and your guide into the world of TSM's LCS team. And, you know, we had a bit of a time on Monday. I'm glad that you guys responded well to it, to be honest with you, because I was a wee bit worried. Throwing all that out there, I did have somebody tell me I should take my hat off. I'm sorry. You're right. I should. So I don't have it on today. See, look, hair is actually out. And I'm wearing a collared shirt. I gotta go meet with the tax man today. Boo. I mean, I get why we need to pay taxes. Just, it's not fun. But yeah, so, it's, dude, fam, it has been a week, or I should really say it has been a hellacious start to 2022 for TSM fans. Drama consistently, the team is underperforming, people are leaving the boat. It's been not great. So, what I'm here to do, as always, is I'm trying to offer a more calm and collected voice. Monday's episode was not that, and that's okay. I don't really have a problem with that. Occasionally, even, those of us who are calm, or try to be at least, or pretend to be at least, you can figure out which category of that I'm in. Sometimes we get upset too, I mean, I was really upset with how this team has been playing. And I know that you guys have been too. So for me, today is about making sure that we, really do a better dive into the actual TSM side of it. And we're going to keep trudging on. And it is trudging, I will say that, but we're going to keep going because regardless of how upset everybody is, regardless of how much pain we might be feeling from this team, we are a resilient fan base, hopefully. And we know that, once systems and everything are put into place, once changes are made, once blah, 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 right? that this org will get itself back on track. The sad thing is it probably won't be with this cast of characters, but, we'll figure that out later. Let's start with our new segment that I really enjoy. I'm going to keep trying to do this. It's just TSM in the news. I think this is a good one to do, specifically on Thursdays, to kind of get everybody up to date. Now, I will say, I am not convinced, that everybody cares about literally every part of what's going on. In terms of the rest of the TSM world, but I've had plenty of people ask me, about it, and so I just wanted to make sure that I at least did some due diligence and, put it all out there. So, you will see that there's no TSM Academy in here, and that's because they are playing Thursday and Friday this week, not Wednesday, Thursday. So that kind of is interesting. Likely by the end of today, and probably shortly after this podcast, knowing my luck, and especially once it goes up, we will probably have news on who the starting support is. So I'll jump into that here in a second. But I want to start with Reggie's claims. Now, Reggie talks a lot. And he specifically talks about the fact that, he spent all this money, over $1 million on buyouts just for Shenyi and Keaiduo alone. And the interesting part is, I bet you most of that was on Shenyi. Just saying, I don't think that TTV Gaming or whatever was actually, asking for a major buyout for Keaiduo at the time. Although they probably at least drove up the price a little bit, considering it was TSM that was coming to call him. And listen, I'm gonna spend a few minutes. Like, I don't even know why is he talking? Who cares? Like, bro, you did what you thought was right. That's fine. Did it work out? No. Are we gonna sit here and blame you the whole time? Well, some people might, but I wouldn't. You know, the claims by Lena, and I'll also dive into her stuff here a little bit. I wanted to separate them a little bit, but you know, I'm thinking that's what drove this. And you know, my only thing with Reggie right now is, bro, like, you just gotta stay out of the spotlight. Like, just stop. Now, I'm being told that he is trying to stay away from from the LCS team. I have one source that says that he was not involved with the decision, but I'm struggling to believe that completely. You know, it just seems unlikely that he was completely not involved. I mean, although Dominic did say that that's kind of the goal. So we'll see. But if he's spending, you know, all this money on this roster and they're not performing, then, well, that is very unfortunate. And he's either going to need to find some way to get some money back, or somebody's going to need to get fired. Because either the scouting was really bad, or there were other things in the background that were really bad, or the team atmosphere is really bad. Which there's just, I don't know. There's just so many things wrong with this team. It could be anything. It's probably a number of things. But Reggie coming out and making those claims, who cares, dude? It didn't matter what he said. He was going to get flamed anyways. So why even try to defend yourself at that point? I don't know. I mean, yeah. I don't know. We'll see. We will see what happens. I will say there were people in the Talking TSM Discord that were worried that we, you know, I'm going to talk about that with Lena's comments. Sorry. Shenyi coming back. Now, there are a lot of rumors, and I do mean a lot of rumors right now, that are coming out saying that Shenyi is coming back to the starting lineup this week. There was one clip or whatever that made it sound like Keaiduo and Shenyi were playing in the same room. Here's one thing I will say about that. Keaiduo made it very clear that Shenyi was like the only person on the team, like at least in week 1, that he felt very close with. So it could be just that they're practicing in the same area just because they're friends. So I don't want to read too much into that. That being said, though, with the way that your son performed last week, having somebody with who's just better overall, you know, in terms of Shenyi would be fine, as long as he and Spica and Tactical or whatever can figure out their beef, or they can be adults in a very rare situation considering how this team has acted, and get over it and just play together and just figure it out. And I mean that slightly in jest, but at the same time, like, this team has seemingly acted very immature. So yeah, would definitely prefer that they get this stuff figured out. Next on the list was Mark Z, his new / old / coming back show, The Blame Game, where he talked about Spica. Now, I didn't watch the whole thing. I will say that, you know, I have been very critical of Spica. I don't think that it is completely on him in terms of his play necessarily. But what I will say is I have been told multiple times that he is not handling this situation well. Now, you can take that for whatever that means. And again, my source could be absolutely 100% wrong. Okay? But it does not surprise me, especially with the way that he tweeted this last week. and putting out, this whole, the players weren't the ones that made Shenyi leave, blah, blah, blah. And then, poor Yursan is out there tweeting hashtag free Shenyi. Like, this team is under a lot of stress. Spica was under a lot of stress. But it's not being handled well. And part of the problem, apparently, again, from the same source, but, you can always take anything until it's confirmed or said specifically by the player or coach or whoever's involved, that maybe, possibly, Spica's Mandarin was not as good as he thought. Now, I don't know for sure, and I'm not going to claim that this, player, who I believe his family is from China at least, that he wouldn't know, at least basic, strong basic Mandarin. That would seem slightly unlikely to me. But if that is the case, and this guy wanted to go to the LPL to play, I hope that he realizes that he would have really had to brush up on it a little bit more than he did in this situation. And so if this is the case, and if as Mark points out, like, the play is not necessarily bad, it just seems like he's on different pages from other people, then that has to change. I genuinely thought they were going to use a lot more Mandarin, and I really thought that, like, Tactical and Huni would be learning little bits of Mandarin to help with the team. That's apparently not happening. They're making Keaiduo and Shenyi learn English, which they're doing pretty well from everything that I've seen, from their games and from everything else. So, yeah, guys, just the blame game. It's hard to blame one player or one person on a team that is 1-8 and everything is falling down around them. Realizing I have a small spelling mistake here. Apologies, those of you who are just listening. You won't have to notice, but I pointed it out anyways. There are rumors of a big roster change coming. I cannot say that I can substantiate those. I've not heard the same thing, but it wouldn't surprise me completely. I shouldn't say that. I had heard weeks ago, maybe 2-3 weeks ago, that there was a chance that they were going to pull the plug on the China experiment, which I believe I had already mentioned to you guys. I don't know. I might have to dedicate a full episode to that, honestly, to discussing, like, why that would or would not be a good idea. My feelings have definitely changed since the beginning of the year. I can tell you that much. So if you can remember from episodes back, then that might explain why. But, yeah, I don't know how I feel about that right now. I mean, it seems like it would make sense to me, but I think they're going to, to me, if that's the case, then I think what that means is they are starting to consider options right now, and I think they are going to bring Shenyi back, and I think they're going to give him every opportunity to compete and figure it out and be like, hey, don't be toxic. Just relax, get in there, and play around your team. Not around yourself. Seems easy enough, but it's probably not. Last couple things here, and this news section is going to be a little bit bigger just because a lot of people are reacting to what happened last week. So I do apologize that this one's gone on a little longer, but Lena's comments are the ones that are the most frustrating to me. And here's why. She talks about, like, oh, they wanted to go mobile. Oh, I couldn't get done what I wanted to get done. Blah, blah, blah. Well, if that's the case, then why does Dominic have full control over the roster, but you didn't? You guys were in the same position. Now, you guys managed a little differently, very obviously. But, like, you're going to come out here and you're going to talk like, oh, whoa, pity me. Like, I had this Jensen, Double Lift, and Vulcan lineup all lined up. Like, come on, are you serious? And sorry, the voice wasn't meant to be mocking. That was just me, like, I don't know, being stupid about any kind of voice. But I realized that maybe was not the way I intended it to be. But for real, you're going to come out here and you're going to say, oh, well, yeah, like, this is what I would have done. Or this is what I was trying to do, but then I decided to leave. Like, listen, she probably had a good reason to leave. There's a big exodus that has happened in TSM. Okay? So it is not just her. There's clearly Reggie is probably in the wrong and probably put too much pressure on this team. And once Bjergsen decided to leave, I think everything else fell through. Again, the double if drama happens. Lena is gone, right? Parth is gone. Andrew, the video guy, is gone. Myth is gone. Like, they were all very close. They did make it feel like a family, but it was a very exclusive family. And I'm telling you right now, like, Lena was, I think, very good to the people who she brought in. I think she was very much a champion for them. But her comments are just so tacky. And it just shows exactly why I'm glad that she's gone, to be honest. Because this was the kind of like high school BS and lack of professionalism that she showed later in her tenure in the position. Coming out and saying stuff like that, like, who are you trying to defend? Were you just trying to make yourself feel better? I'm sorry, but You've had years to put together good rosters, and you've had one championship, I believe, in her tenure. Now, somebody could go back and check me on that. I don't remember exactly when she came in, like, at that specific position. I know she'd been a part of the team, but when she became vice president, you know what? I'm going to look this up. We're going to take a second. Let's see. All right. So she was with the team. Okay. Well, this is claiming that she was in this position since 2012. I don't know. That feels like a lot. Let's see about this Forbes article on her. All right. Here's all I'm going to say is if she was there from 2012 till, she left in 2021, then yeah, she put together some good teams. I'm sure there were other people who also had a hand in that, but, good for her on that. If she became the more known vice president or, VP of esports or, decision maker of esports, because I think she was technically president. I don't know if she was necessarily making the roster decisions. I'm really pretty sure that was Parth. But, like, my point still remains. I believe she was at least vice president, probably president, I'm pretty sure, of the org. And if she's really going to act like she couldn't get done what she needed to get done, then I think that is either Reggie is really that bad, which is absolutely possible, or he did not have confidence in her to do her job correctly. Regardless of that fact, I know that she's been there since at least 2018, and the team has not found success since the Sven and Mithy acquisitions. They just didn't. They went to, I think it was 2 or 3 finals and won 1. They have had problems up and down the roster. Their academy team was always pretty meh. They preferred to just buy players and hope it would work out. Most of the time it didn't. And yeah, they were given a budget. I mean, getting Dardoch, that one year when they also got Kabe, like, clearly the money was not there. Let's be honest. But maybe they were just paying other people a lot more. I don't know. That team was strange. There's no way that they were paying that much considering, Broken Blade was still young. Dardoch was getting a second chance. Bjergsen was Bjergsen, so no surprise there. Kabe, they probably did pay a decent amount for to come back. And then good old BioDaddy, I'm sure they weren't paying a ton, but, paying a decent amount. So, my thing with Lena's comments are, I think that they're very ticky-tacky. I think that they are wholly unnecessary. And, I appreciate what she did for this org. I do think that she gave them a lot of big names. But I trust that Dominic is going to go out and do something more with at least the rosters. And so far they have. I mean, heck, the Valorant team seems to be back on track. Rainbow Six has done well. The new Dota team is awesome. I don't know how much of a hand he had playing in that. That could still be a Lena part. And the Rainbow Six team, Lena probably had a hand in that too. Like, I'm fully ready to give credit where credit is due to her. I really, truly am. But I just don't understand her maturity and professionalism when it comes to the comments that she continuously has made over the last 2 years. And I think that some of it's a little BS. I really do. I don't get it. The nepotism, by the way, to claim that, yeah, I wanted to have double lift on the team. Like I don't think Reggie was that inclined to completely deny double lift. He had brought double lift back already before and won a championship with him. Reggie cares about winning more than almost anything else. That's very clear. That's why he gets so mad when the team doesn't do well, guys. Like, that's why he has stepped in and intervened. And I know it sounds like I'm a Reggie defender. I'm not. I'm really not. Like, I really, truly believe, especially if the verbal and hopefully not physical abuse was there and the mental games were there, then, yeah, I mean, he needs to get the hell out. But he gave Lena power, and it didn't. And she did not handle it completely well in certain areas. And now she's trying to be, oh, woe is me. Like, come on, get out of here. Travis as well. I watched his full video. And here's what I'm going to say about this one, guys. Like, Travis and I have had nothing but a solid professional relationship in the few times that I've met and talked with him. And I think what he said was true. I do think, TSM are and very much have been up until much, much more recently one of the hardest organizations to work with. But at the same time, like, to be honest with you, he always got interviews and always got stuff with people. I don't know how hard he had to work for them, to be fair, but when almost everybody else was getting denied interviews, which happened once. I won't go into that story, but it happened once at an LCS finals where he and ESPN were the only people to get interviews. There were about 7 or 8 orgs, or like esports news media companies that went down there, and 2 of them got interviews. The rest of us got denied pretty much the entire weekend. Like, I mean, I think he's right to call them out. I think he was as fair as I've heard them in the video and heard him in a video. And there are a lot of things going on behind the scenes that I'm sure he knows about. He's very connected, but let's not forget that he also works for Riot Games, and he is also given special privileges at times from that. Because of all the work that he's done. I'm not saying that is not earned, by the way. I mean, the guy literally was the first one doing it for absolutely nothing. So, anybody who would claim otherwise, I think, is very, very much in the wrong, in my opinion. He worked very hard to get to where he is at right now. But for him to, I think, go out and maybe try to be a voice for the rest of us media companies in stating that, TSM is really hard to work with. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that one. But regardless, the rest of it, I do think is very interesting. And, it's very clear that TSM has had a very closed relationship. And it was really nice to hear him state that. So this was not me coming on to shit on Travis or anything like that, because that's not the case. Again, I have a lot of respect for where he has gotten, but for us smaller media companies, TSM has been really hard to work with, and I agree with him wholeheartedly, by the way. And it was really nice wholeheartedly on Dominic. It was so nice to hear him talk about that. So freaking nice, guys. Dominic's going to be Like, I really do think that as long as, like he said, hopefully they do not fire him for trying to take his time and change things and put things in motion in the right way, I believe that he is going to bring us back to greatness at some point, which is another reason why I am not willing to leave this team. I wouldn't anyways, but if people are still even considering it and you're listening to this podcast, then you need to listen to what, like, even I'm a nobody compared to Travis. So if you don't think that my opinion matters in this regard, listen to Travis's, because Travis is absolutely right. Even with the Hotline League stuff, which I don't personally think that Dominic... It was weird that Dominic went on there and didn't answer much, to be honest. I'm sure they had a plan before some of the things that were going to be asked. So, unfortunate timing, I think, is more the reality of that situation. But to expect him to answer some of those questions like fully and openly, and then to be like, yeah, well, my fans were upset about it. Like, well, I mean, sorry. I mean, sometimes it's good to play things close to the vest, and I think that Dominic does that really well. I think he's super smart, and I do think that this org is going to be immensely better, and the LCS team does matter, by the way. I can tell you that much. From my conversations with him, the LCS team matters. So from whatever Lena is saying about mobile gaming, yes, I do think that it's smart, by the way, because mobile gaming is the future in terms of the amount of eyeballs that are going to be on it. Everybody has a phone. Not everybody has a nice computer. So I think TSM's just trying to be forward-facing and realistic. But, yeah, sorry. That was a long TSM in the news. There's just so many opinions out there. And, again, I'm not trying to be overly offensive to Travis, Lena, Mark, Reggie, any of them. Because, listen, they worked hard to get to where they are. And... I'll call it as I see it at times, but I still think there has to be, at a minimum, a modicum of respect for these people because of what they have accomplished. And, we regardless of some of the other situations and what they're saying now, like, yeah, these people have gotten there. We listen to them. I'm talking about them on a show. They're not talking about me on a show. So, yeah, just want to put that out there. All right, now we're going to head into the part that I know you guys have actually been here for. Let's talk about Week 5, okay? Because Thursday is the preview show, right? Like, we actually go into what's going to happen this weekend. And listen, at 1-8, our chances, like, we'd have to go at a minimum, and I do mean at a minimum, 7-2. You could theoretically go 6-3 and still make the playoffs. It is extremely unlikely. I mean, extremely. 7-11 probably doesn't get it done. 8-10 probably doesn't get it done. 9-9, I think there's a better chance considering how much parity there is in the league right now. But I mean, we're gonna have to win a minimum of 6 games. And it has to start this week. If we had won the CLG game, I think we could have been seriously in that much of a better spot. Actually, the 100 Thieves game was the closest game of last week. So, regardless, here we go. Man, I'm saying regardless a lot. God, there's just so many. Yeah, I digress. I don't know. Whatever. A lot of transitional words here I'm trying to use. Some of them are the exact same ones. FlyQuest. All right, so one of the only teams that also had an unbelievably disappointing weekend in the Super Week in Week 4 was FlyQuest. They looked pretty bad, honestly. I think they went to 1-2. They were able to pull out a win, but they looked like kind of the team that I thought they were initially. My eye test and everything and all that I'd seen from most of these players other than Takui specifically had me seeing them around 500, pushing for a playoff spot. I believe that's what I saw them at the beginning of the season. Then they go on this incredible run. They are 4-2 heading into the Super Week. And I'm thinking to myself, oh man, like these guys just play well as a team. And they do. But the problem is at some point you're going to get punished for weak laners. And while I think they could hide Kumo for a while, and it's not that Kumo's bad, because he's actually been performing to better than I thought. His laning phase is not great. His team fighting is solid. And his ability to play for the team is good. But when you isolate him and when you attack him, he gets exposed. And Kumo is exploitable. That is key of the game numero uno. TSM absolutely have to go at Kumo. If Spica is not ganking up there at least 2 or 3 times, because Huni has really not been that bad in terms of his actual laning phase itself. He's obviously looking worse and his stats will look worse based on the fact that he played, so many of the support games. But last weekend, genuinely, he was one of the better players in terms of, being able to push in waves, being able to control the waves, correctly. His laning was still solid. And I think that Huni actually is fine. I don't have much of an issue with where Huni is at right now. And I think they need to play through him. Kumo is not better than him. I don't care what stats you're looking at. I don't care what your eyes necessarily are seeing, which I know that sounds really bad, but I don't. Huni's just better. That's just a matter of fact. He is just a better overall player at this time. As he gets older, maybe not. Kumo's still a little bit younger than him. I think he's 4 or 5 years younger. Kumo's still pretty young, by the way. He came into the league pretty young. Regardless, if TSM... Oh my god, I said it again. All right, we're cutting that word out of the vocabulary for a while. Kumo's exploitable. Huni can go up there, and I think they can mash him. I think they have to if they want to win. It was clearly a path to victory for other teams this past weekend. Especially when he played the Graves. He did not look great. So if that's the case, then try to find a way to get him on Graves again. This team does not value dragons, by the way. Even though they get pressure in bot sometimes, and they actually allow some push-ins. But at least in the last 3 games, and I think a little bit before then too, they aren't getting dragons until 9-10 minutes in. And they're normally getting first dragon, which means that they still have control over that dragon pit area, but they're not... I don't know, they're deciding to try to scale. I think TSM should try to speed up the game and go for early dragons. And if they're just going to give early dragons, if they're really just not playing towards it, then TSM need to make that a priority. They need to go in and get the first 2. I mean, you can get the first 2 in the time that they normally get the 1. Get there first. And if you can have 2 dragons, it could be a slow game, but if you have the first 2 dragons, then you control the rest of the pace of the game. It's very clear. That's very obvious to me. Obviously, if you play the game, you know that. But I'm saying, especially in the LCS. And when I say pressure in the bot lane, I really do expect Spica to be up and down. I want him to play a ganking champion. I want him to be in the fray as much as possible. If he gets it behind on farming and CS, who cares? Because if Huni or Tactical are ahead, that's more important than Spica being caught up in CS. If we have 2 dragons, Huni has a kill, Tactical has a kill, and it's 2-1 or 2-0 by 11 minutes in the game, and again, we have two dragons, then I think we probably win that game. Just going to be honest. I think that we do. So that's my goal. Shenyi or Yursan, because again, apparently Shenyi might be coming back. They need to engage with Spica help. They better be playing. I don't care. I would love to see Leona. Would be really cool. I forgot what that champion's like. I don't love Braum because he's not necessarily an engager, especially until he gets his ult. But That would be fine. Thresh, Nautilus, Ali. I don't love Alistar right now, but I don't care. Just something that is going to engage and be impactful and allow for them with Spica to come in and, do his thing. Like, this whole split, it should be Spica on Hecarim, Udyr, Lee Sin, or Xin Zhao. That's it. I don't want to see anything else. I don't care which one he does, but he needs to pick one and go with it. Listen, of the 2 games this weekend, I really believe that this is the one that we can win. That being said, I don't see it yet. This team has not shown me an ability to execute a game plan outside of the first 5 minutes of a game. Even their games with, the support smite top, they sometimes stumbled into some good luck. I shouldn't say 5 minutes. They didn't execute after like 10 minutes, like the mid game especially. The early game's been okay for them, honestly. It's really not been too bad. But the mid game, and if they even get to the late game are just awful. They don't win team fights unless if they are drastically outnumbering the team. And they don't seem to play to any win condition very well. So I'm predicting a loss on this one until they can prove differently to me. Unless if they're playing Immortals or CLG, and Immortals are getting better and so are CLG, I just don't see them winning a game right now. Which, listen, I mean, they can beat FlyQuest. If they actually play a normal, like, straight-up game of League of Legends with good communication and, heads-up plays and at least okay shot calling, they can win these games. Like, the laners are not a problem. That's the most frustrating part about this team is individually they're not that bad. Huni is still probably a mid-tier top laner. They just don't play through him anymore, and they took the game out of his potential hands like 4 games in the first 9. Realistically, 5. Even that Rumble game was not set up well for him. And Keaiduo, like, I'll go into the next thing here because we play Golden Guardians on Sunday, who are on the up and up, by the way. And everybody was like, oh, I don't know why you think Golden Guardians is going to be so good. This is why. I didn't think it was going to be through the player that it has been, but yeah. Let Keaiduo match Olive. I mean, Olive's really good. Don't get me wrong. And he is especially good in team fights. And he is willing to sacrifice himself. He actually reminds me of like the LCS kind of a budget version of Humanoid to a certain degree, honestly. With the way he plays and the roaming and the willingness to sacrifice certain areas. Now, the thing that he doesn't have is the unbelievable farming that Humanoid has, where he just knows where to go at all times and how to get the CS that he needs to. But I mean, this is at this point. Can we please just unlock Keaiduo, just a little bit, please? They finally let him have a counter pick, which I believe was the first counter pick that I can truly think of this year. Now it says here that his counter pick rating is 33%, but I don't know that they were I don't know that those other 2 games were true counter picks. I feel like they were just going to pick whatever they were going to pick anyways, which is why I believe they were picking him 3rd pick every time. And I hate it. I hate it so much. And by the way, Keaiduo only has 15% of our death share. Like this, his goal difference is, it's the worst in the LCS at the position, but I don't think that's his fault. He's also CSing 2nd best in the LCS, by the way. But he's got the least amount of kills next to a Blaze Olive. He's not a bad player. He's not. And this team has just literally given him no resources. None. His first blood rating, 0%. They are not ganking for him at all. They are not giving him the ability to roam and be a part of what needs to happen. They're just sticking him in lanes and making him a farm machine. You brought him in. Give him a freaking chance, Spica. I am talking to you, Spica, right now because you very clearly want to play around tactical right now. That is fine. I don't think that that's your fault. I'm sure that's the coaches. But my boy, just listen to me. If you listen to this podcast, please just feed Keaiduo. Give him the resources. Let him carry games. I think he can. I genuinely believe that. And guess what? You have 9 games to figure out if he's going to be your mid laner beyond this split. And if not, then fine, so be it. But at least give him a chance. Because I'm telling you right now, if they keep this same BS for the entire split, where they are just farm botting him and giving him no resources to actually have any impacts in fight. They're not calling him in. They're not, allowing him to make plays because that's what it feels like to me. It does not feel like he is lacking or wanting to make plays. It feels like to me that they are keeping him caged up to a certain degree. I watched some of his other gameplay. Dude, this guy was crazy in his streams. He is crazy in his scrims. I'm sure, but he was crazy in the games that he played in the LDL too. This guy took a ton of chances and stuff. Just unlock him, give him resources, tell him how good he is. Please give him a chance because if they walk out of this split and they let him go without seeing what he can do, somebody else is going to pick him up, and I bet you that he will perform a lot better. I just bet it. You can put me down for it right now. Let him match Olive. I think he can do it. It's not that Olive isn't talented because Blaze Olive is extremely talented in my mind. But I think when Olive is really challenged by jungle support and, just mid laner, strong mid lane laning, I think that he can sometimes buckle under the pressure without a little bit of jungle help. If you let him scale and do his thing into the late game, then he's gonna get you. Just don't leave him alone. Get in his face. Let's take advantage of Lost's aggression, by the way. I know you guys might be like, Lost? Aggressive? What are you talking about? Yes. Lost is aggressive. And Lost has rewarded Golden Guardians for believing in him because he is a teamfight monster right now. He is second in kills only to Danny. His KDA is pretty strong. His kill participation is okay. He's not necessarily dying much for the rest of his team. They're still not giving him much attention even in the early game. His CSing is still a problem, by the way. Like, he still has, I believe, the lowest CSing of any player other than FBI actually, apparently, although FBI might have played a Senate game. I'm pretty sure he did. But yeah, I mean, listen, Lost is going to be aggressive, especially in the late game, and this Golden Guardians team loves to play the game real slowly and control objectives. That's why they love early dragons. They do. They love it. Then they control the pace of the game, right? They control how late the game goes. And that's normally when Lost and a Blaze Olive turn on. Licorice makes some plays. Maybe Pride Stalker is fed. Ole does his thing. I'm telling you guys. I'm just telling you. Like, this is everything's going to hinge around bot lane in this game. Tactical is still better than Lost. His laning stats are still actually pretty freaking good, all things considered. In this game, I want Keaiduo to get attention. I actually think you just leave top lane completely alone. I don't think you see Huni until about 15 minutes into the game. Ignore Rift Herald, ignore Huni, just let him either create his own advantage or stay even with Licorice, and play bot side of the map. I wouldn't even be upset about a split map situation for TSM here. That's how important I think getting these dragons are. I think it messes with their strategy and the way they do things. Unlike FlyQuest, Golden Guardians are getting dragons at 5 and 6 minutes into the game. Which you say, Rob, that's only 3 or 4 minutes difference. If you know the game, you understand that that's a big difference. That is a huge difference. And yet, Lost is not necessarily leading in lane at all times. Which shows to me that Olive and Pridestalker, Ablaze Olive and Pridestalker, are more willing to make plays and try to secure Drakes. And that bot lane is willing to give up farm to make sure that they can do it too. Which means you could set up a little Gankarino in that area. You know, maybe you call Huni down on his second back, maybe his first back, depending on how the game's going. You can always TP right back to the tower. You set something up, and bada bing, bada boom, when they go for the dragon, you get a couple kills, maybe snag a dragon, send Huni back in the top lane if he didn't die, and there you go. You're off to a great start. That's what I would do, at least. I'm not the coach, and I'm not necessarily great at League of Legends. I've gotten pretty good at Vex lately. I'm excited to do my 1v1 game. Can't say I'm going to play Vex. Who knows what I'll play yet. I haven't decided. I got a few champions in mind. But, yeah. I'm still predicting a loss here. Again, until they can prove differently, it's hard for me to believe in them against especially a team that is seemingly figuring it out, to be honest with you, because they are. You know, they've been beating some good teams. They're playing really well. They are 5-4. They look primed to be a top 3 or 4 team right now. They're pretty good. I mean, there's just no other way around it. They have 4 more wins than us. They barely beat us the last time we played them, but, you know, that is what it is. So, yeah, I'm predicting an O2 weekend, which I believe would be the first time ever. I believe that is the first time on this show that I've truly predicted an O2 weekend, and I hate it. I hate myself for doing it. I really do. But sometimes it happens. Sometimes it be like that, right? Here are my overall thoughts, though. Week 5 has to be better than Week 4, right? Like, it has to be. Week 4 was such a disaster. Even if they come out in Week 5 and they play well, if they lose both games, as long as they are executing and they are showing improvement, then I will feel better. I mean, listen, guys, I would love for them to go out and find a way to make playoffs, right? Go on some miracle run where, you know, next thing you know, we're 6-8, and we're talking like, oh, snap. You know, like they've gone on a 5-game win streak right now all of a sudden. Or I guess it would be a 4-game win streak, so 5-8. I would love from 2 weeks from now on a Monday. So let's put this down. When would that be? On Monday, March 21st, I would love to be sitting there saying, hey now, we are 5-8. And guess what? The third place team right now is hovering around 500. Uh-oh. Is it just going to be the top 2 teams and everybody else fighting for a playoff spot? That would be fun. That'd be really cool. Now, I got to be realistic here. Now, I do think that we can beat Golden Guardians of FlyQuest. I don't think we will, but I do think we can. So let's head into the next weeks here real quickly. We play Dig, who's been on a slide, and Evil Geniuses, who have been inconsistent at best. There is a chance. Oh, so actually, no, it wouldn't be on the 21st. I'm an idiot. Brain farted. 14th. On the 14th, March 14th episode. I would love to be saying that we're 5-8. We don't play one of the top 2 teams until the 19th. Yeah, until the 19th, where we will play Cloud9. I also do not believe, we don't play Team Liquid until the last game of the season, which may not matter to them at that time. By the way, that's a good thing. This is it. I mean, you lose both games this weekend and it's over, by the way, for sure at that point. Like, absolutely 100%. There's no way. I mean, we literally would have to win every single game, and the rest of the league would have to just beat each other up for the next 5 weeks. Or 3 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever. But I'm hopeful. Maybe March 14th, I'll be sitting here in this chair, talking into this mic and being like, hey, guys, guess what? You're saying there's a chance. If Shenyi is coming back, then let's see him shot call. If he thinks he's so freaking good at it, he's willing to talk trash about his teammates, then let him do it. If they win the game, then let him continue to do it. If they don't and it looks absolutely awful, then don't let him do it. Apparently, he didn't feel comfortable shot calling, or I don't know, some random thing like that. Guys, like I have nothing against Shenyi. He's a young kid. I think he's gonna figure it out. And he is a kid, by the way. I do mean it in that time, honestly, because that's the way he's acting right now. I know he's 19, but when you act like a child, sometimes you act like a child. And the way that he's been acting has been very immature. But I hope that he has come to terms with that, figured it out, and gotten better. So I want to see him in at least one of these games. If he's going to be back, then let's see him shot call a game. Because I will tell you this much. Academy team did look a lot better with him making the calls. Now, that team had no direction, so I think that's part of the reason why. But they've won some games. He has felt the experience of winning games and knows what that looks like in the LCS. Well, in the Academy League, but whatever. Third thing here is, can we finally see Keaiduo get some resources? That would be great. That'd be awesome. I explained it a lot in the Golden Guardians game, but yeah, let's see it. Come on. Let the boy cook, please. Please. Now I go to the question time. Will we ever play through a lane again? I hope so. Because it feels like we don't. It feels like we just kind of sit there and speak. Occasionally we'll, try to guard or gank for one a little bit, and then they just kind of forget about it, and they don't do anything with it. They played through Huni like that one game, and then they just stopped doing anything to get him in position to do anything. It was so stupid. Ugh. And yes, they technically played through tactical and bot lane, but like that was like a weird strategy. I don't consider that like actually playing through a lane. I consider that being like, there's only one way you're going to win this game. Not, hey, we're going to pick a lane advantage and try to take advantage of it. It's like, no, we're going to force an advantage no matter what by giving him every resource in the book. I mean, that's how they did it. Will we ever win a non-chaotic team fight again? Find out on your local news channel. Or you can find out right here, right now. I hope so. I don't know. We've lost like every Baron and Dragon fight that we've been to. So far, not really, but I hope so. That'd be great to win just a straight up 5v5, like, no craziness, no, we set things up right, and the vision's there, and we know where we're going, and we don't get picked off right away, and we don't, blow ultimates on nothing. Like, yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be nice. Don't you guys think that'd be cool? Let me know in the comments. There you go. Here's your first let me know in the comments. Probably the only one of the day. Would it be cool to see us win a non-chaotic team fight? Let me know. Tell me. Yes or no. It's really the answer. Explain if you feel like it. This isn't school. You can do what you want. Last one is, if big changes are coming, who is out? If Spica's truly the only one that is safe, I don't know about that right now. Maybe it's because you can't get anybody else. I'm of the opinion that if they're going to make changes over the summer, you go get the youngest frickin' team that you can. You go out and you get Bradley, you get Kenvi or Will. You go out and you get maybe like Wixie, or I can't remember. I can figure this out. 1 second. Academy. show rosters. You could get Wixie or Prismal in the bot lane. You could get Copy in the mid lane. You could get Kaori. Oh, there you go. You go out and you buy out Kaori because EG certainly don't need him. He's going to get bought out this year anyways. Heck, I'd even be happy with Tomo. Maybe even Instinct. Yeah, here's your young person team. Bradley Kenvy, Copy, Wixie, and bring in Chime. There you go. Or, even better, Bradley in the top lane, Kenvy in the jungle, Keaiduo in the mid lane, Kaori in the bot lane. And I don't know, you choose whatever you want at support. Or they pop out our boy Keaiduo and do Kaori Shenyi bot lane. I don't know. Turkish Chinese bot lane. That'd be probably a first, from what I can think. My point is if they're going to make these changes, if they're going to make big changes, right? Big sweeping changes to this roster, nobody should be safe, in my opinion. Not even our boy Spica. And you got to think, by the way, this is the last thing I'll leave you guys with. Has Spica proven that he even can play on another team at this point? Listen, I think with a team built around him, and I think maybe a little bit more of a mature presence around him, I kind of think that Spica could be a lot better. And if I'm TSM, if I'm Dominic right now, I'm going to Spica and I'm saying, hey, bro, we still love you here. You're awesome. Let's sign you to a 3-year extension over the MSI break. We'll rebuild the team around you again. But we'll make better choices this time. I don't even know. Guys, I don't know how to feel about it. I really don't. I'm still struggling. I'm battling with the whole Spica thing. I mean, he may have to literally ask to stay at TSM at this point with the way that he's been playing so far. It's not all his fault. He's still mechanically gifted. But his shot calling clearly needs a lot of work. And I do mean a lot. We'll have to see. It's going to be an interesting next few weeks, guys. I can just tell you that much. And I'm really happy that it's going to sound bad. I'm happy that something like this is happening because I think the issues that TSM have had at the upper levels of management and other things have been a problem for far too long that have not been resolved. And normally you need to go through a bad time in order for changes to be made that will benefit you for the future. So, yeah. I think this is a necessary, unfortunate aspect of what we have to do. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But what I do know is that, again, I have confidence in Dominic Callis right now. Everybody else, I don't know. But if Travis is saying it, if I've experienced it, if everybody else that I've talked to in the industry that's talked to him feels the same way, then maybe, just maybe, this is going to be the boost that the team needed in order to take things to the next level and to be great again and to not just win LCS championships. We've done that, guys, by the way. I don't care if we don't win another LCS championship for a while. As long as we build out a good program, a good system to where we are bringing in good talent, they're challenging each other to make themselves better, and we're finding a way to be the best at Worlds. I'd rather be C9 right now, the C9-esque, where they don't win championships lately, but they'll finish top 2 or 3, and they will go to Worlds and they will perform. That's what I want. It doesn't mean I don't want more championships at some point, by the way. I do. I would love one. I would love like a 2022 redemption story in summer where we just come back, slaughter everybody, and win. That'd be cool. But that's probably not going to happen. So, yeah, what I would prefer is Worlds. Worlds winning of any type would be awesome. If we could make it out of groups this year or next year, that would be sick. So let's remember, that's our focus. That is the mindset of what we want going forward. All right, if you like this show, please take a second to like, subscribe, and comment. If you're watching on our YouTube channel, hit the bell icon so you don't miss another episode. Let's continue to hopefully make this the #1 TSM podcast. I really do appreciate all of you who are listening on a weekly basis. Thank you. On a bi-weekly basis, really, for most of you, two times a week. Please share this with your friends. You can find me on Twitter at TGHRobertHaynes. You can find The Gamehouse at TGH Esports. Head to thegamehouse.com. You can check out all the awesome content we have coming out. New Pokemon game announced. I think I said this Monday, but yeah, still pretty hyped about that. Go check out the new starters. They look pretty cool. With that, thanks for tuning in. The show comes out every Monday and Thursday, and it is still exclusively for your TSM ear holes. I'm Robert Haynes, and this has been Talking TSM. See y'all on Monday.